You know, the biggest thing that I gave to this game on launch, before we knew, was that I was pretty happy that standard units number one went to the standard banner quick, and number two, we had 5 units in the standard. I think out of like 25 limiteds for a gacha, having 5 out of 25 units being unfeatured is really good. However, I missed something in the stream and misunderstood something. So on first read, I thought that basically after half annie is when they're going to start bringing the units in, and any other standard that comes out in that period is going to release into the unfeatured very quickly. So for example, all the other units besides Marion and Phoebe come out after that half annie mark, which would then mean in my head that they would be out in the unfeatured very quick, in 2 weeks at least, right? 2 to 4 weeks. That is not the case, because basically we want to act out of consideration of players who use their platinum tickets and metajewels during the most wanted period for at least 6 months, which means that every single standard unit will take 6 months to get to the unfeatured pool. And I did not see this on the first read, right? I think you could have seen it in the video and the stream that I did not even process that. But that would then mean that every unit is not going to be there on half annie, right? It's just that Marion will be the first during half annie to be there, right? And maybe even a bit later. That's the thing. So where does it say? Over here, right? After the half annie, right? So it's not going to be even during half annie. It's probably going to be afterwards. And this is pretty rough. Number one, also because standard banner characters, their banners only last for 2 weeks. But if we're going to treat them equally, the jock said this, if we're going to treat them equally, and they won't be in standard for a while, at least make it a month, first of all. But second of all, the units now, unfortunately, have a lot more of a pull incentive. And it's something that we can't ignore. So we're going to get into that today, because it is actually very important for you guys to understand this. And it might change your pull plan because of this. And what's crazy is these standard units are actually really good. That's the thing. Like, almost all of them are very, very, very good. So these are the 5 units in order. We got Marion, Phoebe, we got Cherish, we got Howler, and then we got Turbo. Okay, so I want to hone in specifically on Phoebe and then also on Howler. Okay, those are the two that we are gonna go in on. But I would definitely say that Phoebe is the main part of this video that I want to talk about, because we already know when she's coming out. She's gonna be in version 1.4 unless they change stuff. She's gonna be in 1.4 and she's gonna be in late August. So my guess, probably after the 20th. Maybe like 19th, but I would probably say after the 20th. And this should be Phoebe's update. Now, we know that she's coming in late August now. Well, let's do the math, right? September, October, November, December, right? January, February. She should be in February in standard banner, which is pretty rough. And then when you consider all the other units, just imagine how pushed back their banner edition is. Because essentially, whenever their banner ended on CN, they were added to the banner pool. Right? They were added to the banner pool. Now, this, before we get into Phoebe and all that, this was very important because of this specifically. The 110 banner had amazing value. Not this. Where is it? Here, my bad. The 110 banner had amazing value because you could get the unit, your rate up unit after 110, but then you're building a separate pity of 165. So you're, even if you're gonna get the new unit, well, over time you're able to also get these unfeatured, right? And you know, people are like, oh, but it's such a low chance. I kind of disagree with that, because over time, these 5 units would have populated most of the pool, and then you would have had a higher chance of getting them. But now it's going to be so pushed back. And even if it's such a low chance, I still think we have to acknowledge that there is a chance that you could have gotten them, to where now these units do unfortunately gain value. And that's exactly what they're kind of trying to enforce. But hey, it is what it is, I guess. I mean, listen. I definitely think that, especially with this, I'm like, damn, if people don't want to spend, I understand, right? Like, I think if you stay to the monthly and just keep it at that, or just go free to play, that's fine, right? I don't think we need to go super crazy, but this is definitely not a good change. I wonder how the comments are. I don't think the comments are too good. I don't think the comments are too good. So let's get into it now. No more complaining and talk about all this. So, Howler is very late into the banner cycle. She should be in around December, I think. She should come out. But she's also going to be someone who does gain a lot of value, but mainly it's time to get into Phoebe. So Marion, I would definitely say if you don't have her, it's not going to be the end of the world. And also she's going to be the first one added to standard. So I would honestly hold out if I'm being completely real. Phoebe is a bit of a different story because she's a navigator. Now, this honestly does kind of throw a wrench in our plans if you think about it, because there's only 3 5-star navigators, and I definitely think that getting Phoebe kind of would suck a bit in a way. Both of these are just fantastic navis. Phoebe does have a bit less value long term, but the thing is, if you just got her for free on gold tickets or on the unfeatured spook, right? Or even just from the 110 banner, the like guaranteed unfeatured, right? That would have been really, really good. Especially because it would have probably been, well, I mean, it would have been very close. Like it would have been in version 2.0 that we would have been able to get Phoebe if we stayed with the CN version of this banner. And she would have definitely been necessary if you consider that Futaba is quite a ways in. Like she is a good amount afterwards, like a couple months after. And then likewise also for Ange, right? I'm pretty sure she's somewhere here. I might be blind. Yeah, in 4.0. So honestly, one thing's for sure, until 4.0, you could definitely end up using Phoebe for a good portion of things. And maybe even use it alongside Rico. It's possible, but Phoebe is very good. Let me explain her kit real quick. Basically, depending on like your team setup, you're going to be getting different types of mixes. So basically, if you have 3 of the same element, so almost mono, right, you're going to, well, basically pretty much mono, it's going to be a premium deluxe, which is going to make the buffs a better ratio, a better boost. Then there's premium mix, 2 of the same element, then rough mix, which is 3 different elements, okay? And that's going to be very, very important to keep in mind, because if you see here, these 2, right, are going to increase and boost depending, because if you have premium mix, it's going to be 120% of the effect. Premium deluxe, sorry, if you have premium mix, it's going to be 100%, and if you have rough mix, it's going to be 50% of the boost. And she gives very good stuff, right? This one is going to be giving elemental damage increase, then also more damage bonus for the main target, which is huge. Then this one also is very good, giving a damage delta increase to one ally and also max HP, right? There's a lot that we're getting here even an attack boost. So when you consider this in terms of like all that good stuff, she's great. Then also stats is 20% instead of I don't know if it's for all the 4-star navigators, but it is 15% here, right? So it's a nice little boost all in all that I think is pretty good. And yeah, it seems like the 5 stars are just 20% outright, so that is very nice. Then there's even more damage. So in terms of damage, she's great, while having the ability to also get some survivability in, while also still giving some damage out, right, which is great. So I definitely think that adding her into your plans is not going to be a bad idea. However, I don't think she, in my opinion, does not end up being a must summon. One thing I will say for sure, though, is that you could actually see 4-star Rico here, which would be in September, right? Which is a bit after Phoebe, not too far. But this is important because of the fact that she will be the other navigator. But then with Rico especially, like to really guarantee it and all that good stuff, like you're going to also have to keep in mind that you're going to maybe have to summon on certain banners. So I definitely think that Phoebe is a bit more surefire to get and also make sure she has good value. Now, unfortunately, I do think Phoebe does also gain a good amount of value when also, well, you know, having dupes, but unfortunately that's not going to be in the discussion anymore because we won't be able to get her on standard for a while. Like I said, I mean, it should be around February time when she will be going to standard, but I definitely think that she should be put into your plan as one of the main units from standard to get, because, you know, you're not really going to be able to replace her with a 5-star until 4.0, which is in over a year from now. So definitely think that, I think we're all under the understanding that even if Futaba does exist, that Phoebe is going to be someone quite high value for you, considering that over a year later as a standard unit, she is still tier 1, tier 2, at least from Pride One's ratings, right? She is very good, right? So that's something we have to keep in mind. Now, obviously, all the other standards are very good. I know Misaki is very good. I'm just unsure, like, especially with how many standard units there are. Like, I'm not about to tell you to summon on all 5 of them, but I would definitely say Runa is very, very good. So she as a support is super, super good. So she's basically off of her effect hit rate. And let's just say it's insane. So her ult on its own is going to be doing some very good things AoE, where basically it's going to be able to increase the damage that the enemies take for two things. Mainly, number one, either follow-up, and then number two, fire damage. And this is going to be based off of her effect hit rate. And this is going to start going everywhere with the effect hit rate. She gets an attack increase off of her effect hit rate. And then also giving an attack boost when she does use debuffs, gives her attack boost and then gives others the same amount. So it's going to be very good. Attack boost here, damage or follow-up. So she works with two different team compositions, which honestly is definitely pretty good. I mean, for fire, it's definitely not going to be bad. And you also have to keep in mind, I mean, I feel like Runa, especially when we put Makoto Yuki into the equation, is going to be someone must-have, in my opinion, if you're trying to go for Makoto Yuki. But she also, considering she's going to be, like, wouldn't she, because Runa, when does she come out? I think she's pretty late into the cycle to where she's either going to be in standard late 2026 or even 2027. Oh my god, that's insane. So yeah, I feel like she kind of is needed, especially later on. Like, you're able to choose with either the skill 1 or 2 to gain Warm Welcome or Furious Pursue, which maybe, is it Furious Pursue? That seems like improper grammar, but it is what it is. And then Warm Welcome would give fire damage taken increase, and then this one's going to give Furious Pursue, going to give follow-up damage taken increase. So she works under two different team comps, giving her a lot of usability long-term for sure, especially for fire with Makoto Yuki. But then she's also going to give a chance to decrease the enemy's defense and healing received, all at dupe 0, which makes me kind of wish we could have gotten her with more dupes, because look at this crit damage taken increase. Oh my god, that would have been so good. That would have been so good. But yeah, no, even with her base kit, attack increase, defense lower, okay, defense lower, we got fire damage increase, follow-up increase, right, all this good stuff. I think she is really good. You could get a lot of defense, decreased stacks. So I think she's also very good. But mainly consider Phoebe. I definitely think if you skip Runa or Howler, whatever you want to call her. I personally like Runa for her. I think it's fine because it does require certain team comps. That's fair. But Phoebe is more of an all-around unit to where she's going to last you at least until 4.0. And if you really long-term start to get dupes, if you're just very lucky and you get a bunch of dupes for Phoebe, then maybe she's going to be even more long-term than other people. So keep that in mind. But I definitely think it's something to at least acknowledge that these two units in specific from the standard pool are going to be very good for you guys to get. So I hope to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. I am very sad that this is the case. I thought after half Annie we'd be able to just get all of them in a quick period at least, but it seems like it's 6 months for every single standard unit, unfortunately. So that's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.